Start to record. Share. So, and this is from my book, Nine Principles to Restore the Constitution in its Original Intention, reviving the 1776 spirit of the American Revolution. These principles were at the heart of why they went to war with the Great Britain, excuse me. But this is my book in rough draft form. I don't know if I'll ever actually get completely done with it, but it's good enough to share right now. But principle number 2, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That is the principle. 2 elements in this principle. Truth. Truth is something, an example, act, or word, or thought that cannot be disagreed with. Second element, self-evident. It is something that is, or possibly is, right or wrong, which is verifiable and or validated through the accumulation of knowledge that is presently available on one's mind to determine a action, decision, or belief, etc. off of, whether it's right or wrong. Again, where truths that are self-evident are derived from. It is derived from the choosing of one out of 2 or more challenging and or conflicting options / choices through the accumulation of present personal knowledge one has to make a decision off of. Truths to be self-evident is a truth that is self-evident, or as I like to call it, a self-evident truth. It's called truths to be self-evident on the actual wording from the Declaration of Independence, as all these principles are exactly worded from the Declaration of Independence. The purpose of self-evident truths is to be able to govern yourself. It removes the codependency of waiting on professors, scholars, politicians, scientists, doctors, laboratory tests, and science society in determining something should be delivered. Something should be believed is an opinion you should have or a decision you should make, etc., of whether something is right or wrong. It removes the middleman and allows you to start having a more personal revelation with God, the Creator / the Creator Himself. An example and worth of self-evident truth, and I could have used the Constitution that I wanted to, but I just kind of shot right off the top of my head while I was typing this down. This is my first rough draft, so kind of thing. But yeah, I'm just going to lay it out really quickly. When you see it is raining outside and you don't want to get your new suit wet, you put on a coat because it is self-evident that it's how you're going to keep it from getting wet. You need no past professors, scientists, doctors, scholars, or politicians' opinions, newspaper article, or laboratory test to make that decision. Now, self-evident truths, like I was saying, is based off of the personal knowledge you have. So what this is about is restoring the Constitution, this book again. Now, if you knew the Constitution, you would understand when somebody said something that was against it or was in alignment, in harmony with it. And that's the problem we have right now in America, is that we're not educated on the Constitution. So people are basically paralyzed and stuck when you want to talk about something in principle like this. Talk about a truth as it's applicable to the situation and circumstances that we're in. And everybody knows when we speak about government, it has a reputation for being corrupt. Yet we cannot necessarily speak about government because nobody knows about government. And when we do, they kind of are paralyzed. Like I said, they're held back. They hold back. They're reserved in their judgment. They can't necessarily say yes, or they can't necessarily say no. They choose not to as well. But I'm trying to make this simple for everybody to understand what kind of American lifestyle this is. American belief. It's kind of an American religion, American lifestyle. The American spirit is it's a lifestyle. It's not just a war that happened in the past. It's a way of life, the way they lived life. But so what I'm saying, getting to, is that when something is explained to you, it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily need a professor to come and validate that it's the right thing to do. Because in America here, we have what we call self-evident truths. And you can just analyze it based off of the two options weighed before you, and with the two different separate categories of options of knowledge that are presented to you, and make a choice. Now, what I'm going to try to get to, natural law. Explain a little bit more about natural law, because you can have right reasoning in anything, right? And natural law is on my other video that I just made, but it's right reasoning. But people want to know, it takes kind of knowledge to understand what is right reasoning. Kind of takes two conflicting choices as well, two options to understand what right reasoning is. Kind of, sort of, maybe not two at the same time, but self-evident truths, though, it's something that's self-evident. And this usually comes from coming from a society that you grew up in already. You usually have a bunch of self-evident truths because you have a bunch of knowledge that is already handed down from that society or that family, and which family was a part of a society that kind of used a certain amount of truths already to start off with. And God bless us here in America, we had the founding fathers, who's actually set a really good example and set down some track and some pavement for us to understand, aka some knowledge for us to carry on and move forward with, and to have a grasping foundation to build off of. But we still have it. We just don't. It's just violated all the time because nobody knows it. Nobody understands this type of education right here that I'm reading and that I'm presenting, and it just takes a re-education of populace to kind of understand and have that self-empowerment all over again, and to know the kind of honor it is to come from this type of lifestyle and how the actual value of it. But self-evident truths, it's a self-governing principle. And that's what America is about. It's a responsible type of government, one of independence, but one with responsibility for each individual responsibility. It's a government of, I would say. But self-evident truths and natural law together will be the determining factor in the worth of not just all succeeding principles and previous explanations of the document, but should be the determining factor in all choices in life. Now, that even goes to your testimony of God in scriptures and Jesus Christ, right? It's self-evident to you that thing made sense. That's why you're doing it. And it's natural law. It's right reasoning that you believe in him. So it's not just here in America, in this Constitution, in this government, principles of government, but it's actually principles within the scriptures, although they don't necessarily say that in the scriptures. It's self-evident, isn't it? And the scriptures, in God, we would all want to know that we all basically know it's about truth, and the truth shall set you free. But yes, being truthful is a part of that Christian type of scriptural lifestyle as well. And it's a self-evident thing, isn't it, with the knowledge and experiences that you have. So, and saying it's good to live off of truth. Sooner or later, somebody's going to get tired of trying to open up their door to their car by putting the key through the window, because they're never going to be able to do it, right? It's impossible. So they're going to want to put their key through the doorknob, and they're going to be able to continue to do that because it makes them happy and whatnot. Brings joy to their life. And accomplishes the thing that needs to be done. And that's self-evident. But I'm just going to leave the principle here and stop this, and I'll move on to principle number 3 in my next video. Please feel free to watch and share and listen. Kind of making these videos for you guys too, for people who don't want to watch, just listen in their car or in their headset, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and stop it right now. Catch my YouTube channel for the other principles in the auditory form. There's also my website on the bottom of the link, 9 Principles to Restore the Constitution, and IOI stands for, and its original intention, .wordpress.com. I'm going to go ahead and end it off right here.